It's 1 a.m. As the faint blue light from the digital screen falls on your face, you grip the steering wheel lightly and drive into the darkness. You know what it feels like to drive on those empty roads in the middle of the night when no one else is around. You always feel a sense of unease in the pitch-black darkness beyond your headlights, but in defiance of that wild, unknown world outside, you find the deepest peace in the world within the sheltered silence of your car. You thought nothing could unsettle you behind the wheel, until that Saturday night. It all started with your desperate attempt to snag that professional camera kit, which was being sold urgently for far below market value due to a cash crunch, before someone else got to it. You see that ad on Craigslist posted by an electronics store in a remote mountain town in Oregon. You don't want to miss this opportunity because you've been dreaming of getting a camera like this for your YouTube videos for months. So you hit the road at 1 a.m. In the passenger seat, there's $800 in cash. Ahead of you lies a 4-hour drive filled with single-lane forest roads winding through the mountains. Everything goes smoothly for the first few hours. An hour later, you turn onto a pitch-black, narrow, single-lane dirt road. Surrounded by towering trees, your phone's signal cuts out completely, and you're driving all alone in the middle of that desolate wilderness. Until you glance in your rearview mirror. Behind you, you see two distant lights rising from the pitch-black darkness. It's an old, dark-colored pickup truck. At first, you assume it's just another ordinary driver out on the road in the middle of the night, like you. The pickup is rapidly approaching you and pulls right up alongside you. You can't see a thing because its headlights are blinding you through your rearview mirror. To escape this eerie pressure, you speed up even more. The faster you go, the more it floors it. It maintains the distance between you down to the millimeter. You realize it hasn't let you go at either of the two signs you've passed along the way. It's as if it knows exactly where you're going. As the unease inside you grows, you frantically check your phone. But all you see on the screen is no service. As your heart pounds so hard it feels like it's piercing your chest, you notice your hands, gripping the steering wheel, are drenched in sweat. Even as you try to calm yourself down deep inside, that white light in the rearview mirror reminds you of your helplessness every single second. That last half hour before you reach town seems to drag on forever. The pickup truck behind you neither slows down nor tries to pass you. It just follows you like a shadow glued to your bumper. The blinding white glare of its headlights in your rearview mirror seems to want to push you off the road, into the midst of those pitch-black trees. You finally feel a little relief when you see the faded town sign by the roadside. At 4:15 a.m., as you pull the car up in front of the old electronics store where the device is to be sold, you can't take your eyes off the rearview mirror. You watch as the pickup truck slowly drives past you. When you see its headlights fading into the darkness, you take a shaky, deep breath. It's still more than an hour before the store opens. You check the door lock. The exhaustion from the drive from out of town, combined with the sudden fade of the adrenaline rush brought on by the excitement, makes your body feel heavy. You lean back, trying to keep your eyes open as you begin to watch the dark street. But you succumb to exhaustion and drift off to sleep. You wake up to the sound of your alarm. The first thing you notice is a faint, metallic clinking sound coming from outside. You wipe the fogged-up window with your hand and nervously check outside. Only a single streetlight flickers on and off, trembling like an erratic heartbeat. When you look closely, you notice movement inside the store. A dim light, as if someone were wandering around inside. Finally, the store's open. You get out of the car. You feel a numbness in your legs. The tension that has settled into your muscles throughout the night is still there. For a moment, you wonder, why am I still here? Then you push the thought aside. You tuck the cash from the envelope into your pocket and walk toward the store. You approach the window. You look inside. And in that moment, you can't believe your eyes. The store is completely empty. There's a damp, musty smell of rotten wood in the air. The smell of a place that hasn't been ventilated in years. Dust has accumulated on the shelves. There are no products, no counters. Cables hanging from the ceiling sway idly, carried by an invisible breeze. An old sign hanging on the wall flutters slightly in the wind. It bears the word closed, printed years ago in yellowed, cracked letters. The light you saw inside is gone now. Maybe it was never there. Maybe you shouldn't have trusted your own eyes. You reach for the doorknob. It's locked and rusty. The touch of the rust on your hand is cold and rough, as if it hasn't been opened in years. You pull out your phone and try to find the listing on Craigslist again. The post isn't there. The account is gone too, as if it had never existed. Just then, you hear the sound of an engine behind you. On the opposite corner of the street, that same dark-colored pickup truck is parked. The engine is running, but the vehicle isn't moving. Then the door opens. Someone wearing a hood steps out of the truck. You can't see their face, just a dark void beneath the hood. Their steps are slow and steady, as if there's no need to hurry. They start walking toward you. For a moment, you freeze. Then all the tension in your legs turns into a single impulse. You start running, your breath catching in your chest. You don't have the courage to look back, but you hear his footsteps. Steady, not picking up speed. You reach your car. You pull the door shut and lock it. You look out the window. The hooded man is running toward you, at the last moment picking up speed. He reaches for the door handle, tugging at it. Even as your hands tremble, you turn the ignition on the first try. You slam your foot on the gas with all your might. Your hands tremble on the steering wheel the whole way. You don't take your eyes off that dark road in the rearview mirror for even a moment. Hours later, when the city lights appear in the distance, a breath of relief fills your lungs for the first time. The moment you step inside, you lock the door behind you and lean your back against the wood. Your heart is still pounding in your chest, but at least you're safe now. You're surrounded by familiar walls, lights, and belongings. But that unease inside you just won't go away. What if that ad wasn't just a random sales opportunity, but merely a bait? Only those who've experienced it know what it's like to be a delivery driver on the night shift. You drive along those narrow strips of road, lit only by your headlights, feeling like the loneliest person in the world. You think of nothing else but going home and lying down in a warm bed. It's 11:30 p.m., just half an hour left until your shift ends. At that moment, you think you've left the hardest part of the night behind you. All you can hear in your head is the monotonous hum of the engine and the deep silence that's been keeping you company for hours. Just as you're about to head home, a notification pops up on your screen. It says there's one last short delivery. You sigh, but even though you really don't want to, you accept the job. You back your vehicle into the dim, empty loading area of the main warehouse. Inside the warehouse, there's nothing but the hum of the fluorescent lights overhead and the sound of your own footsteps. You get out of the vehicle and pick up a hard package wrapped in jet black plastic from the table. As you take out your device to scan the label, your eyes catch the text on it. The sender field is completely blank. In the recipient field, instead of a name, it simply says deliver. The address line contains neither a neighborhood name nor a street name. It only lists a strange, jumbled coordinate code, one that even your navigation device struggles to decipher. Ending with question marks, you check the barcode on the device. It appears as a legitimate delivery in the system. Helplessly, you toss the package onto the front seat and turn the ignition. The navigation system first takes you off those familiar, safe streets of the city. After a few miles, the paved road ends and gives way to a narrow gravel road. As you continue, the road narrows even further. The car's side mirrors come so close they're almost brushing against the branches of the low shrubs lining the road. Beyond the narrow path illuminated by your headlights, you can see nothing but pitch-black darkness. A strange uneasiness washes over you. Making a delivery to a place like this at this hour of the night doesn't feel normal at all. The road stretching out before you looks very different from a normal one. You're entering a wooded, fenced-in area. Barbed wire runs alongside the road as you drive. On both sides, you see dense trees and fences rising like a dark boundary. Something inside you tells you that something is wrong. This isn't a normal delivery route. You reach for your phone to check the navigation. The screen lights up. The signal hasn't completely dropped, but it's not working properly either. It recalculates the route every few minutes. You drive along the trail for about 20 minutes, accompanied by the strained sounds of the engine. And finally, beyond that pitch-black darkness, a single yellow light appears, an uncertain, flickering light. As you get closer, the source of the light becomes clearer. Deep in the forest, you see an old farmhouse that time has long forgotten. Next to it stands a weathered barn. The area around the house opens up into a wide clearing. The fences end here as well, as if this area had been deliberately separated from the outside world. But what really catches your attention are the three luxury dark-colored SUVs parked side by side on the wide, flat area in front of the house. They look too clean for a setting like this. The unease inside you suddenly turns into pure fear. Your heart begins to pound against your ribcage. You stop the car but don't turn off the engine. You grab the handheld terminal and reach for the package in the back. Just then, your eye catches a shadow just outside the area illuminated by your headlights. In the corner of the warehouse, at the edge of that pitch-black darkness, someone is standing. They're wearing dark clothing. Their hands are clasped lightly in front of them, motionless as if standing that way out of strict military discipline, or entirely by choice. Their face is nothing but a pitch-black void within the shadow cast over them. You can't tell if they're looking at you, but you feel their presence there down to your very bones. Just as you're about to reach for the gear shift, your gaze involuntarily drifts to the rearview mirror. From the far corner of the warehouse, out of that darkness, you see a second silhouette emerge. Standing there, beside the first one in the same way, hands clasped in front, completely silent, completely motionless. They're neither coming toward you nor saying anything. They're just standing there. You force yourself to shake off the heaviness in your legs and shift the gear back into reverse. The engine chokes for a moment, then responds with a sharp sound. You floor the gas pedal. As the car spins and skids in place, you find yourself glancing involuntarily at the rearview mirror. As you quickly reverse the car, the potholes in the dirt road jolt you. You're speeding away from there. Hours later, when you spot the city's yellow streetlights in the distance, you pull the car over to the right. That's when you realize your hands gripping the steering wheel are soaking wet. You pick up the phone and call the shipping company's emergency support line. After a short wait, the system connects. You hear the voice of a sleepy operator on the other end. As you begin to explain the situation, you notice that their tone gradually becomes more serious. The last-minute delivery, the coordinates deep in the forest, what you saw, you quickly relay it all. There's no response. You hear only the sounds of typing. After a while, system data appears on the screen. Delivery records are being checked, names are being verified, and the route history is being automatically queried. But none of what you described is showing up. There's no additional assignment, no coordinates, and no record for that area. The map screen shows an empty space. It's as if the route you just took never existed. You slowly lower the phone. You turn to the back seat. The package is still there. The company denies it's there. The system says it's never seen those routes. But that black, cold bag stands right next to you, in all its reality. You can't take it anymore. You reach across to the front seat and tear open that jet black plastic bag with a sharp rip. All that comes out is a small velvet box. You open the lid. Inside the box lies a single USB drive. There's no brand name on it, just a black label. As you stare at that label, the intense curiosity inside you suddenly gives way to an icy instinct for survival. You grab the flash drive along with its box, roll down the car window, and toss it into the first trash container by the roadside. You don't hesitate for even a second. You roll up the window and step on the gas. After that night, you never work the night shift again. But sometimes, when you're driving alone at night, the same question pops into your mind. What was on that USB drive? Sometimes, after staring at the screen or the work in front of you for hours, your mind comes to a complete standstill. That faint ache behind your eyes gradually intensifies, and the lines, numbers, or documents on the screen begin to blur together. No matter how hard you try to focus, your brain no longer processes anything new. It's as if it's shifted into neutral. That's exactly how it is. You're in the midst of a suffocating night where the walls seem to be closing in on you. After hours of that grueling work, you don't want to breathe in the heavy air in the room or feel trapped between those four walls. Even the silence of your home, instead of bringing peace, only adds to the pressure weighing on you. Your mind desperately needs to reset and take a deep breath. Just as you're about to shut down your computer and go to sleep, your phone vibrates. You've received a short message from your partner. If you're still awake, come over. We'll watch a movie together. Normally, heading out at this hour would be the last thing you'd want to do. But the distance between you wasn't that far, and you hadn't seen them in a few days. After thinking it over for a few minutes, you grab your keys and head out the door. It was well past midnight. With the familiar hum of the engine, you steer along the quiet roads. To get to the meeting spot as quickly as possible, you'd chosen the secluded mountain road, which cuts the journey nearly in half, instead of the highway. You'd been driving along the narrow forest road for about half an hour. You've taken this road countless times before. You know by heart where the road narrows, which turns are sharp, and at which points you'll lose cell service. The massive pine trees on your right and left flash by like shadows as your car speeds along. As you listen to the calm melody playing on the radio, you find yourself thinking about the peaceful breath you'll take when you're with your lover. Just then, you're rounding one of those sharp turns. The moment your headlights illuminate the exit of the turn, you have to squint. Right in the middle of the asphalt, you spot a strange dark shape. At first, you think it's a fallen tree or a rock. But as you get closer, you realize it's a car. An old, dark-colored hatchback, with its headlights and hazard lights completely off, is blocking the road completely. It looks as if someone had pulled the emergency brake right in the middle of the curve and just left the car there. You slow down. Your heart skips a beat. The first thing that comes to mind, naturally, is the possibility of an accident or a breakdown. Maybe someone needs help. But this is a mountain road where no one would easily stop at this hour of the night. You just sit there for a few minutes. You don't turn off the engine. Your foot is ready on the clutch and brake. Just as you're thinking of shifting into reverse and driving away, you notice some movement coming from under the car across the road. A middle-aged man, covered head to toe in black motor oil and grime, is slowly sliding out from under the car where he's been lying on his back. He's wearing an old, dark-colored t-shirt. He sets the wrench he's holding down on the ground and stands up, shielding his eyes from the glare of your headlights with his hand. You can clearly see the weary, helpless expression on his face, streaked with oil stains. He looks like a completely ordinary person who's broken down on the road. The disheveled state of his clothes momentarily pushes the suspicion you initially felt into the background. The man takes a few heavy steps toward your car. He doesn't speak. He simply gestures for you to roll down the window. The first thing that catches your attention in that moment is the man's hands. This man, whose clothes, face, and eyes are caked in black motor oil, has spotlessly clean hands. There isn't a single black smudge under his fingernails, nor are there the calluses on his fingers that someone who does that kind of work would have. The oil stains seem to have been hastily smeared onto his face and clothes like a mask. Suspiciously, your gaze quickly shifts to the hatchback behind the man. The headlights cast their light under the car. There's no toolbox on the ground, no removed parts, and no dripping oil. You quickly turn your head back to the man. Just then, your eyes meet his. In that split second when he realizes you've noticed him, the pleading, helpless expression on his face vanishes completely. As his gaze turns icy, blank, and stern, he quickly moves his hand behind his back. That's when you realize that this deserted road where you stop to help is actually a danger to you. You're torn between getting out of here as fast as possible or losing everything. You don't even have a single second to think. In that very moment, you glance at your rearview mirror. Out of the pitch-black darkness behind you, you see two shadows darting onto the road from between the trees, running swiftly toward your car with glowing metal objects in their hands. The moment your eyes lock onto those two shadows in the rearview mirror, you take your foot off the clutch and floor the gas pedal. As the engine roars, the man in front of you realizes you're accelerating toward him and throws himself backward in a panic. Spotting that small gap behind the hatchback, you jerk the steering wheel. Just as you're gaining speed, the front of your car slams hard into the rear corner of the vehicle blocking the road and begins to push it aside. Without lifting off the gas, you squeeze through that narrow gap. Ignoring the scraping sounds coming from the car's body, you speed through those dark curves. You pull over to the right immediately and call the police with trembling hands. Shortly afterward, the patrol team that arrives at your site examines the car's damaged body while dispatching a unit to the area via radio. One of the officers looks back at the mountain road and shakes his head. "You got off easy. We just received a tip about a gang targeting people on deserted roads. You saved your life by not opening the door and getting out." In that moment, you take a deep, shaky breath from your chest. The sense of relief at having escaped that dark nightmare unscathed relaxes your entire body. Months have passed since that night. The deep dents and scratches on the car's bodywork have been repaired, but that feeling of fear and insecurity inside you has never gone away. What about you? If you found yourself in one of these three stories, which one would you definitely avoid?